Oh, fucking K. Now we're ready to fucking roll, ladies and gentlemen. How the fuck are ya? I'm doing. I'm here still. I'm not dead. We thought I was gonna die, I didn't die. Alright, let's be honest here. I thought I was gonna die, and I didn't die. I always think I'm gonna die. I said that before. It's just something in my head. I'm a hypochondriac. I'm like, ooh, my heart hurts a little bit. This is it. I'm done. It is currently 7:46 in the morning, dude. Early as hell. I'm off all week, dude. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I went to the gym already, but like that's the problem. That's why I like work, cause that's 8 hours a day that I know I got something going on, and then the rest I plan out. I got the gym, I got meditating, I got fucking maybe see my sister or something at some point, bro. But when I don't have work, I'm done at the gym by fucking 7 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm fucking like, now what? Done meditating and doing all the other shit I gotta do by 8. So I'm like, now what? Luckily, I got the podcast now. That's what you gotta do in life. You just gotta keep throwing these healthy habits in here. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta lay out your day in healthy habits, because that's what's gonna get you to success. There's no other fucking way. Because if you don't fill these fucking bad habits in with healthy ones, they're gonna lead you down the wrong fucking path, dude. And I haven't drank since last Tuesday. It's almost been a week, and we're gonna keep going. I know that's not that long. I know it's not that long. Leave me alone, okay? It's a long time for me, damn it. But it's a long time for me, and I can feel it. I don't even remember the last time that I remember the last time I've gone a week, maybe even 2, but I don't know the last time I've gone 3 weeks without drinking. I don't even remember, dude. It might have been when I was a kid. I don't even know, dude. I can't remember, honestly. Can anybody remember? Whenever you start drinking, try to think about the time that you haven't drank. I mean, obviously, I'm not like everybody else. Certain other people are gonna have this shit on the lock, and fucking have this shit under control, but I don't. With alcohol, I just can't. I don't have it under control. And I was lying to myself for the longest time, being like, nah, I got this shit under control. I can handle it. Because I can drink. I can drink. You've ever seen a skinny motherfucker drink? I can drink. I can put it down, dude. That's the problem. Especially if there's certain points where I would hit. And this is not an advocation for drinking, alright? In fact, I'm going to advocate for the opposite. Don't drink. It's stupid. But there'd be and I hit this point often. That was my favorite point of drinking. That's why I would fucking do it. And it sounds crazy to do. I'm definitely an alcoholic. All right, I got to stay away from that shit. We got our coffee here. That's all we need. Coffee and a little bit of here and there, just here and there. But what was I thinking? Oh yeah, bruh. My favorite part is if you do it to a certain extent, like I don't even know what it is. There's like a certain sweet spot that I've found that I can hit, that I'm intoxicated, but I'm not getting any more intoxicated for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like I can ride out an intoxicated level for a little while. And it's usually if after 2-3 beers, usually a beer drunk, I can fucking space out like that. I guess it's just riding out the intoxication probably. But with liquor, it gets a lot harder because that shit's strong as hell. But I guess that's maybe what it is. But that's my favorite part, man. When you hit that point where you've been drinking a shit ton, but you're like, oh, I've been this drunk for a while. I know what the fuck I'm doing. And then you just start riding out that drunk, because that new drunk becomes your sober reality. This sounds fucked up, but that's with any substance. It's with coffee, it's with nicotine, it's with sugar, it's with coffee. Did I say coffee? I think I said coffee. Caffeine in general. Psychedelics, weed, any of this shit. Any of it. Any of it, dude. You try this certain thing. I guess that's with anything, isn't it? Anything you try, you're stepping into a new reality. Say you've never bungee jumped before, and now you've jumped off of a bridge towards your death, and then this little tiny little cord just like boom, and you go back up, and now that's a new reality. It's a new experience to add to your Rolodex, and you're like, God damn, life isn't what I thought it was. That's how it happens, I think. It happens quite often because our brains try to I see. So you see, we've been taught not to reach these new experiences because this victim mentality and how soft everybody's gotten. Nobody wants to fucking do anything anymore. And so you take these fucking people. What was I talking about? Just give me a second. Let me get my thoughts together, okay? Because I just jumped in this thing all willy-nilly. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Just give me a second. I get it. Alright, you know what it is? We're taught to seek comfort just through our society alone. And you may be like, how does that make sense? We have this very structured plan that everybody tells us from a young age. You've got to complete this grade and this grade and this grade until you complete high school. And then you got to complete college. And then you got to go and fucking get a good job. And then you got to have a family. And then you got to get a house. Well, you got to get a house. And then you got to have a family. And then they're like, that's it. That's life. There you go, buddy. And then everybody's like, now what? I've done these 5 things and I'm only fucking 25. What the fuck? And they don't tell you. You're just supposed to live. But my main point was that through this structure of society that we have, we fall into these troughs where we're stuck in a rigid way of thinking because we have such a structured way of doing things that anything outside of the norm becomes uncomfortable, and the society says, no, we can't go that way because that's outside of our societal norm. And so through this society and through this structure that we all know and love, well, I don't know about all that, but we all know it for sure. We found ourselves in a spot where we're constantly comfortable because, oh my God, this makes sense. I'm thinking this as I'm saying it. I'm sorry, but if you think about it from a hunter-gatherer perspective, sorry, I have to. But if you look at it from a hunter-gatherer perspective, we're constantly having to adapt to new circumstances, new environments, new threats, new food sources, new everything. We're fucking exploring. We're explorers. We're fucking exploring the landscape and exploring the forests and exploring the rivers and the oceans, and we're fucking looking through all this shit, and we're constantly having to adapt. And then we find ourselves in this structure that we've built for ourselves to be comfortable, but we've trapped ourselves in this comfort box. Because now everything outside of this is not comfortable. Because just take going to the gym, for example. Everybody looks at me different because I go to the gym, dude. It's not that big of a fucking deal. It's literally like I'm the same exact person I've always been, but now I'm jacked. Just because I want to be healthy. It's not even. People think, oh, this guy's jacked. He must be fucking mentally sound and mentally healthy. No, my jacked body is a physical representation of my crazy ass mind. That's why I'm jacked. It's because I'm like, rah! And I need to get that out somewhere. So I go to the gym and I run and I do all this other shit because I gotta figure out these ways of fucking diverging all this energy somewhere else. And alcohol was one of those ways. And that's what I meant by you have to put these uncomfortable, or you have to put these healthy ways of being, and that is discomfort. You're gonna have to be uncomfortable if you want to fucking improve, and it's gonna suck. It sucks, But let's use alcohol for an example. For me, me and Chance were talking about this last night, and he explained it in a really well said way. He's talking about it as if it's like he was talking about it as if it's like you have a bell curve of stress, right? And it's this big, okay? Let's say it's the size of this microphone, all right? But then, as the stress gets bigger and bigger throughout life, right? The stress is getting bigger, so now your bell curve's up here. But this entire time, say for me, for example, I used alcohol from, fucking 15, 16 to now to use it on stress. Like, every time I was stressed, not every time, I suppose, but like every weekend, I'm like, oh, finally, all the stress from the week, I can just drink it away. And that's not a healthy mindset, because when your bell curve's up here now, you're still over here, curving over here, because you're drinking the alcohol. So you're like, oh, I'm dealing with it. But in reality, the stress is all the way up here. So when you quit the alcohol, it takes you all the way up here for the first time, and you're like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. How loud am I? Okay. It sounds loud in the mic. I don't want to be too loud. It's still early in the morning. I'm not trying to be a loud motherfucker. But that's essentially what's going on. And that's what I realized was going on with me. And I had been stressed, brother. I was stressed as fuck this week. And to a certain extent, I still feel a little weird. Like, that's how much I'd been drinking. It's like a weird thing. I was drinking pop because I'm like, I know I want to drink alcohol, but I'm going to drink a pop. Just because I knew I wanted something fizzy and sweet, and if I didn't get it in me, I might go for something that wasn't the best. And I know pop's not the best, but I'd rather drink a pop every once in a while than fucking drink anymore. And that's on God. Like, that last video I made, man, I'm still sticking to it. We're not drinking. I'm not a drinker anymore. That's what Atomic Habits talks about. That's how you change a habit and reform your brain. It's not just looking at it as, oh, I used to do this and now I don't. No. You have to completely shift your identity and say, I am not a drinker. I do not drink. And I don't care if that makes me lame. I don't care if people look at me different. I don't care what the fuck. Dude, it's not good for you. Call me fucking pussy. Call me whatever you want. I don't care. I'm going to be a fucking I'm going to just say no. I'm going to start my own Just Say No campaign. And it's going to be for alcohol. But this time, it's got fucking actual evidence backing it. You know what? I'm going to Google something. Just knocked my fucking tooth out. God damn. That's what happens when you got a lot of energy, ladies and gentlemen. I need to ask Grok something. Let's see. Where's their most intelligent model? We need our most intelligent model. It won't load. I'm gonna make it load though. Load, you son of a bitch. There we go. Alright, we're gonna ask, why was alcohol made illegal in the 20s? Because I know it happened, but why did it happen? What was their reasoning behind making alcohol illegal? Okay. Alcohol was made illegal in the United States during the 1920s primarily due to the Prohibition movement, which was driven by a combination of social, moral, and political factors. Social reform movements, groups like the Women's Christian Temperance Union and the Anti-Saloon League argued that alcohol was detrimental to society. They linked alcohol consumption to domestic violence, poverty, crime, and other social ills. Women in particular played a significant role in this movement as they often bore the brunt of these issues. Health concerns. There was growing recognition of the health problems associated with alcoholism. Advocates for prohibition believed that banning alcohol would lead to better public health. Economic reasons. Some industrialists supported prohibition in the belief that it would lead to a more reliable and productive workforce. The idea was that without alcohol, workers would be less likely to miss work due to drinking or hangovers. You see, but they didn't consider how much they're drinking because of that job. That's the problem. Damn. I'm one sexy bastard. No, stop. I'm just kidding. Alright, leave me alone. Alright, let's keep reading. I gotta stop looking at myself. I'm distracting myself. Where were moral and religious reasons. Many religious groups, particularly Protestant denominations, saw alcohol as sinful. Oh, as sinful, not as a sinful. They campaigned for prohibition on moral grounds, seeking to purify society. I like all these reasons so far. Legislation. No. Political momentum. The movement gained political traction over time. The sentiment was also fueled by anti-German sentiment during and after World War I. Since many breweries in the U.S. were owned by German immigrants, this helped in painting alcohol as un-American. That's kind of fucked up. They're just fucking being racist towards immigrants now. Legislation. The accumulation of these efforts was the passage of the 18th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which was ratified in 1919 and took effect in 1920. Its prohibition, the manufacture. Jesus, I do not know how to read sometimes. My brain goes too fast. It prohibited the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors within, the importation thereof into, or the exportation thereof from the United States. However, prohibition led to unintended consequences. Yes, it did, and this is the consequences. Organized crime, the demand for alcohol didn't disappear, leading to the rise of bootlegging, illegal production and distribution of alcohol, speakeasies, illegal bars, and organized crime syndicates like those led by figures such as Al Capone. And Nascar came from alcohol came from prohibition because people were souping up their fucking cars to get away from cops when they were moonshiners. Google it, look it up. It's fucking true. Lost tax revenue. Governments lost significant revenue from alcohol taxes, which was not adequately compensated by other sources during Prohibition. Public discontent. Over time, public opinion turned against Prohibition due to these negative effects and the perceived infringement on personal freedoms. That's a good fucking point, just like the war on drugs. This eventually led to the repeal of Prohibition, with the 21st Amendment in 1933 making alcohol legal again, albeit with regulations. Wait a minute. Was alcohol unregulated before Prohibition? No way. There's no way. They just didn't have regulation on it? That's insane. That's wild. Google it. Or Grok it. We're going to call Grok it. It's not entirely unregulated, but the regulations were much less. Business didn't have. Wow. They didn't have licenses to sell alcohol. They had some dry counties. Fuck. Interesting. I agree, but obviously that's the problem. There's always going to be a demand for these things. We just have to. Oh my God, that's the way out, is education. Education, discipline, management, like teaching people discipline, teaching people like self-love. You gotta if you teach people all of these things at a young age, emotional intelligence, all of these things, I don't think they'll want to drink alcohol. If you educate somebody to a certain point, why would you want to touch something that's poisonous to your body and toxic, and you know you're not going to be feeling like? I get living on the edge and all this shit, like you only live once, but like if you've tried it, you know how it feels. Especially me, I've done it enough. Like I know how it feels. It's all right for that's the thing. I was thinking about this in the woods the other day. We always separate the fucking alcohol from the hangover, but that's all one thing. That is like, okay, you are like, when that's what people don't consider. They think about, when they're thinking about, oh, we're getting drunk tonight, they're just thinking about tonight. Oh, let's go get alcohol and we're getting drunk and we're gonna have a good time tonight. But they're not considering the next morning. And then the next morning rolls around and you feel like shit. And you're like, why the fuck did I do that? But in reality, that's one continuous experience. And we don't look at it like that because we went to sleep and we woke up. But it's one continuous experience from the first drop of alcohol ingested, and then you go all the way to when it's fully out of your system. That is the whole experience of drinking the alcohol, and we don't consider it like that. And I wasn't considering it like that either. But once you start to consider it like that, and the reason I started considering it like this is because the amount I would drink on the weekends, I would drink Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday. No, just Friday and Saturday night I would drink. And then Sunday I'd recover. That was my plan. And that's what a lot of people do. And it's like, oh, this is great. But if you were drinking the amount I was drinking, it takes an entire week to get back on your shit. Like, and you're not even considering that or thinking about it. Especially if you don't if you're not in tune with your body, if you don't go to the gym, or you're not like I'm hypersensitive of my internal state and how my body feels at the moment. Like if I feel a weird itch on my ankle, I always go itch it. I'm hypersensitive to my body, and so I can feel it that okay, let's say I drink Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning I wake up hungover and fucking tired. Well, not just that, okay? So Friday night I drank, all right? When you drink alcohol, you're not sleeping properly. That's the first thing. You're not sleeping and recovering the way you should be. Your sleep is disrupted. You're not getting into REM sleep like you should be. So your sleep cycle's all fucked up, and that's why you're tired and fucked up when you wake up. And so Friday to Saturday, I don't sleep right usually. That's and this is seriously why I'm quitting. I'm not doing it no more. And this is it doesn't make any sense. And if you are my age or whatever age you are, dude, find a better alternative. Smoke a little marijuana. I didn't say it. Wasn't me. I don't know who said. No, but find something healthier. For real. But okay, so from Friday to Saturday, you don't sleep right. Plus, you had a shit ton of alcohol already, right? And then Saturday night, you do it again. So from Saturday to Sunday, you're running off no sleep, basically. And then you go off no sleep again, and you're drinking more. So that's double, whatever the fuck you're putting in. I put in a lot. So that's a lot of alcohol, plus a lot of no sleep. So you're already fucked up. So Sunday morning rolls around. I'm recovering, drinking a lot of water, drinking a lot of coffee. I'm trying and eating after a fast of till usually I don't eat till 3-4 o'clock. I'll fast till, just because my stomach's so fucked up from all of it. And then Monday morning, you sleep that night. Monday morning rolls around, you feel better, but you're still not 100%. And it takes and plus, let's say I hadn't been going to the gym because I was on a bender, or I hadn't been doing other things that I knew I should have been doing because I was on a bender. So that means I'm recovering from those things as well, eating healthily, and my gut microbiome's messed up, and my vitamin schedule's off, and all these things from 2 nights of drinking. All of these things become off-centered and out of balance, and then you have to spend this whole week rebalancing all of these things back together. And that's why I don't want to do it anymore, because it's a problem. That's every time. It's not I started to look at it as hold on, you fucking coaster. I gotta pee a little bit. I might pause this and go pee, to be honest. So I'm sorry I get a little slurpy. I'm going to pause this and go pee. Alright. What I was saying was, so every time you're taking these 2 days of drinking, you have to take a whole week to recover. And so every time you're doing this, every single weekend, just think about it. Think about it, dude. How the fuck? You're not staying ahead. You're backtracking. You have to be. There's no getting ahead when you're doing that shit to yourself, because you're fucking throwing yourself off every fucking weekend. Every fucking weekend, you are off the rails. You're not doing. And I'm talking about myself mostly, but I know a lot of people who do this shit still to this day, dude. And I know a lot of kids are going to be doing it because it's just something you do when you grow up. But it's not smart and it's not right. And I wasn't educated about this stuff. I watched a lot of shit growing up. My parents drank. It's just normal shit. A lot of people drink. It's just normal societal shit. And then you start drinking when you grow up, and you're like, damn, this is pretty fun. And you keep doing it and keep doing it. And then you wake up at 50 years old and you realize you got a problem. And then you're like, fuck, what do I do now? And you didn't learn anything. You don't know how to get out of that. That's my terror. That's my biggest fear, is letting this, not just that, but letting any substance set me off the path to success. And my form of success is like just like being content. Like I want, ideally, physically, I'd want a house on like a ranch somewhere with like a farm and animals, and just I'd be wealthy, hopefully, like not extremely rich, but just have enough money to fucking help people and help myself. And then that's all I really need. I don't need anything else. I don't even really need the money. I just want the money to help people. That's the thing. Like, what do I need money for? That's why I want a farm. Because if you fucking listen, if you have a farm, let's say, okay, let's picture it with me. Let's close our eyes together. All right, we're about to brainstorm. All right, so we got a giant acreage, right? And then you got a fucking giant, not a giant house. Let's say like a pretty standard sized house. Let's say 2-3 bedroom, 2-bath house. And then it's a pretty nice house. And then you got not farms, but you got barns around for the cows and maybe some pigs and some chicken coops. And then you got food growing in the ground, vegetables and fruit trees, and you got maybe some marijuana if it's legal by then. Hopefully it's legal to grow by then, because then you could turn that into clothes, and you can have hemp clothes and stuff, hemp oil. You got all kinds of stuff. There's so much benefit to growing hemp, and it doesn't make any sense that it's illegal, because it's such a fucking crazy crop. You could turn it into fucking everything. Hemp concrete, hemp plastic, hemp clothes. It's hemp everything. So look at that. All right, just from that picture alone, obviously there's going to be mushrooms everywhere. Not psychedelic, maybe a little psychedelic, but there's going to be like edible and gourmet mushrooms like in this book here. But think about this, okay? Just from that picture alone, food's taken care of. Every food you need, right there. Meat, vegetables, fruit, mushrooms, all of it, right there. Medicine. Marijuana is a fucking painkiller. But then, obviously there's modern medicine. If you really got something bad, but every time I've had something hurt or anything, I don't need to go to the doctor. I'm fine. But, and I'm not saying I smoke marijuana. Don't do it. It's bad for you. This is your brain on drugs. No, but then you got your medicine. Medicine comes out of the ground. I think aspirin's a plant. All of it's a plant. Most of it's a plant. Most of it. Okay, this is my point. Food comes out of the ground. Medicine comes out of the ground. Water comes from the ground, or the sky if it's in the water cycle, but most of it's in the ground or on the ground. Clothes come from the ground. Rope, just any kind of fabric, comes from the ground or from an animal, sheep. And then you got wood. You've got metal. Everything comes from the ground. Farming is our original fucking job. Because then, think about this. You've got everything you fucking need. The reason we work, the reason we go and get money, is because we need clothes, we need food, we need water, we need all this shit, right? What if all of that shit is in your fucking front yard growing out of the ground? Obviously you have to process it and do all that. That's a full-time job there, right? But, and I'll probably hire some guys if I'm lucky enough one day. But then you've got your clothes, you've got everything you need. So you don't even need money now. Money's obsolete because everything you need is right there. That's why they don't want us to farm for ourselves and shit. Because everything you need is right there. It's in the ground, dude. But then, after you've taken care of your own needs, my mouth sounds weird. I need to drink some water. after you've taken care of your own needs, everything else becomes profit. All the extra clothes, all the extra food, all the extra medicine, all the extra gourmet and medicinal mushrooms. And that's what I mean by medicine too, is mushrooms. These ones that I was talking about, cancer properties, Alzheimer properties, HIV healing properties, antiviral properties, antibiotic properties. I've talked about it many times. But that's medicine itself too. But that's the thing. Everything else becomes profit. I've been thinking about this for years, motherfucker. Everything else becomes profit if you can just get everything to come out of the ground. Because then every footstep you're taking is money. It's not, that's what they don't want you to know. If you could get everything to come out of your yard, every footstep you're taking is money. Because you've got everything you need right there. And then it comes out the ground. And obviously you've got to deal with weather. But that's the thing with modern science and modern technology, is that we have grow rooms and shit like that. We could set up grow rooms and shit for all these vegetables and fruit trees and all this shit. And so it could grow year round. And we could keep it at a constant temperature and keep it at a constant, water level and all that shit. You can measure all of it, just like in a car. But you can measure it with, your actual farm. You can what is it? Come on, brain. What's the word, dude? You can tech up your farm. That's essentially what I'm saying. Whatever the word is for teching up a farm, put modern technology in your farm, but just be careful, obviously, because you don't want to contaminate anything. That's the hard part, because then you got factors that you haven't thought about. But then, I thought about this too, because you have to grow in a forest, because that's where all the nutrients is. That's where the most nutrients is, I should say. The most nutrients, the most, all of life is in the forest. So if you can clear out enough trees to fucking keep up a nice structured forest, but then plant rows of crops in between these forests, and then you get some either small drones, maybe the drones Terrence Howard was talking about. Those might work because they can connect together and shit. But you get some drone systems in there to fly in with claws or hands, and they grab onto the fruit and they put them in their baskets and they fly around, and they're just picking all these crops through the forest, because you see those battle drones, they go, they fly around shit and they're going crazy. It's nuts. So if you could do that in a forest where, there's a tree, and you're navigating a forest like that, while simultaneously picking crops out of there that have high nutritious value and high vitamin value. You'd also have to worry about sunlight and shit. So you'd have to make sure the canopy is good enough to where the crops would be getting sunlight, and then the crops could shade the mushrooms that are growing underneath, because mushrooms need shade. I think about this a lot. Well, not really. I haven't really thought about this in a while. It just sits in the back of my head. That's the main thing I want to do. That's all I need in my life. It's just a advanced farm, a modern farm. That's what I want. A modern farm that mimics nature. Mimics nature with technology. Yes. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. That's crazy, man. I want to be it'd be so cool, dude. But what were we talking about before that? How did I get on that long ass rant? I don't know. But what I was going to talk about also is this tattoo right here. Hold on. How do we get it in a good... That's not bad. So that's a unilome symbol, right? It's from Buddhism. And it if you look up the standard definition, it talks about the path to, it's the path to enlightenment, all right? So that's why it's all squiggly and fucky, and you go around in circles, and because that's the path to enlightenment, the eye's enlightenment, right? And when I was meditating the other day, I realized I had been looking at this tattoo wrong. and the symbol itself wrong, I should say, because I thought that enlightenment was some place that you got to mentally or something like that, to where you were free of mind and like, oh, I'm enlightened now. You know, it's like a destination you reach. That's what I was talking about in like those podcasts where I was like at peace, dude. Because I was legit at peace for like a week, and I didn't understand why I had to come back. You know what I'm saying? And while I was meditating, I realized that enlightenment is full transcendence of this form. Okay, I'll put my, actually, no, that feels kind of good. I'll pull them up. But that's what transcendence is. Transcendence is full transcendence of this form. That's what enlightenment is. I misspoke. But so full transcendence of this form. What does that mean? You can't fully transcend this form without shedding this body, this idea of what life is, all of it. That's death, dude. That's what enlightenment is. And so that would make this line right here, that would make this life, okay? That's why it looks like that. Because you're going in circles, and then you're fucking running around, and then after about 100 years, you fucking finally get there, maybe, if you've done it. I mean, you probably reach it, but maybe you're not prepared for it. That's what my thought would be. Because you probably reach it regardless, but if you're not prepared for that state of mind or state of being, you might just come back. Maybe that's what reincarnation is, or maybe it's an act of choosing. Maybe you get there and it's like, if you've prepared, you know how to navigate this realm, so you can do whatever you want for a while, and then you can pick where you want to go. If you haven't prepared, then you fucking just jump right back in. You're like, boom, you're back. whatever. You're just like, oh, I'm a squirrel, I guess. No, but I don't know. I think about this stuff a lot. I don't know how it works, but that's what I realized with this path. It's a map, dude. Life is just all the trials and tribulations and all the hard shit and all the nonsense, and then you finally get to enlightenment, and that's full transcendence of this form. And that's what makes our mind so scared of death, is that it knows it's not coming along. That's why we're scared of losing our mind. Like, that's why people are like, oh, you lost your mind. And we're scared of that because, and death is losing your mind, because we know the mind can't come with. The mind can't transcend with us, because the mind is part of this body and it's part of the human form. And so you have to leave it here. Everything that's in it, everything that's part of it, your personality, all of it. It stays right here in this fucking planet, and people who knew you remember it for a while, and then those people disappear, and then slowly you disappear. And after time, nobody's remembered. And it's not that bad. It's not bad. It's not a bad thing. That's what our brain tries to do too. It labels things good and bad. It's not good or bad. It's just how life, I think, works. No, it's not how I think it works. It's how it works. Over time, you're forgotten. No matter how successful, no matter how big, no matter what you accomplished. There's certain people we remember to this day, like Isaac Newton and Nikola Tesla and people like that. But then you go and we remember some Greek names and some pharaohs from Egypt. We remember certain stories that were told, but then you go back before the written word, or before they were writing on tablets and stuff. We don't know any of these people. We don't know any of those people. We name them ourselves, actually. The first human we named Lucy. So we don't really know. And that's why you shouldn't be too caught up on yourself. Don't be thinking you're hot shit, because none of us are. But we are at the same time. Not hot shit in a sense that, oh, we're the best thing in the universe. No. But we are a unique expression of the human form. And with this unique expression, we can channel it and create something unique to this form. But you have to educate yourself a lot, and you have to do a lot of work on your spirit and your psyche to get it into an order where it's not about your human bullshit and all this nonsense. Like, you have to reach into a deeper depth. You have to reach into a deeper part of the being. You can't just talk about surface level shit anymore. People see through it. They sniff the bullshit. Like if you're just reading off of a script, or you got a book open, you're like, guys, I read this, and you didn't really read the book. You're just like, hey, I read this book, and you start reading off shit that you try to sound smart and shit. People are gonna smell it. They smell bullshit. We smell it. We smell. I smell it. I smell that boo. No, but let's see what we're at, shall we? Let's see. That's wild. These last 3 podcasts just been flying by. What else do I got to talk about? My niece, when I was at my I touched the fucking mic cord again. But I could have ended it, and I was contemplating it, but I can't just leave you guys off like that. We can't just leave you guys like that. So that means I'm gonna have to put these two together, and we're gonna have to do some work. But I got nothing better going on today, so it doesn't matter. But what I was gonna say is, when I was at my sister's house, my niece was carrying around her tablet, right? And I thought she was watching something, how kids do on a tablet, but I noticed that the screen was off, and I'm like, Aria, what are you watching on there? And she's like, nothing, it's dead. And I was like, it's dead? What the hell? I was like, why are you carrying it around then? She's like, I don't know, I like it. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, Aria, does the tablet make you feel comfortable? And she's like, yeah, it does. And I was like, that's wild, Aria. And then I was like, damn. I understand, though. Because we carry our phones around. And when we don't have it, we're like, oh, shit. We're fucking... It's like we're cyborgs already. That's what we are. We're cyborgs already. It's crazy. And I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes in the next generation. They're attached to it at the hip already from a young age. I think she's 5 years old. 5 years old, 6 years old. Yeah. And tablet makes her feel comfortable. We're carrying around dead objects. I carry around my phone even if it's dead. I do too. That's why I was like, that makes sense, man. That makes sense. It's kind of crazy though, because next gen's gonna have Neuralink. Oh my god. That's crazy, dude. They might not even fucking bat an eye getting Neuralink because they don't want their devices taken away. They hate it. So if you put it in your brain, it's never getting taken away unless somebody goes in your brain and takes it. That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. Or unless they hack it. That's also another option. But they're probably not going to complain or nothing. They're just going to be like, well, okay. That's wild. I think I'm going to end this thing because I want to go and watch my show. And I'm probably going to eat soon. No, I'm not. I'm probably going to wait till like 11 or something. What else do we do? Nothing. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I love you. I love you.